how my fiancée reacted when I told her I wear a hair system. I'm going to tell you all about this, all of the details, and I'm going to give you some tips as to how you should do this too. Yes guys, welcome back to the content. I apologise if I'm a little bit more sluggish today. I am off the coffee. I've got a really bad gastritis flare at the moment. It's super painful, and it's advised that when you're having these flares that you keep off the alcohol completely, you try and limit your coffee or go cold turkey with it, and you keep away from spicy foods. So my 3 favourite things I can't have, and I'm grumpy about it. Really grumpy. But we move. So I wanted to talk today about when I first told my fiancée that I wear a hair system. Obviously, she wasn't my fiancée at the time. That would be pretty crazy. What a shocker. Been together like almost 5 years. And you're like, oh, by the way, I wear a hair system. Why the hell haven't you told me about that? Yeah, so I did it quite early in our relationship. It was probably about 3 weeks in, basically. So yeah, really early doors. But I had thought it through, and I did feel like a genuine connection to her, and I felt like I could genuinely trust her and trust that she wouldn't be a dick about it. She wouldn't run a mile, and she'd probably be quite understanding. So I thought a lot about it. And another thing actually, in my mind, it was getting pretty obvious that I was wearing a system because, you know, we'd been intimate a couple of times and her hands were all over my head. And anyone who wears a system, as many of you do, will know that it's pretty obvious there's something there. You can feel it. You can literally feel it. So, you know, and she was feeling around there, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is, I'm going to have to come clean about this, because it's kind of, she clearly must be feeling that something's not right there. So that's another thing I was considering. And I was just like, okay, I'm just going to tell her. I feel like I can trust her. And you know what? It was really easy. I just wanted to be as authentic as I could around it. And I just looked her straight in the eye and I said, look, you know, I've had this condition since I was 2. I'll talk about male pattern baldness in a minute, but I've had this condition since I was 2. And as a result, I have these massive patches on my head, like these massive bald patches. And as a result, the only thing that stops me pulling my hair is a hair system. Or as I said, I think I called it a wig or a toupee or whatever. And she was super understanding about it. You know, she was super understanding. I'm not saying that's always going to be the case for everyone, and I'm going to discuss that more in detail later. But I actually felt validated. So I think trust, you know, when you feel like you can trust someone and trust that they can keep your information safe, that can go a really long way. Now, male pattern baldness, obviously that's slightly different to trichotillomania. So you're just losing hair due to genetics, not due to pulling your hair out like me. What a nutter. But I also I was starting to have a receding hairline as well. So I was actually losing it through genetics as well as pulling it out. Maybe the pulling out didn't help with I think the genetic side was made even worse by the fact that I was just pulling at it. It was like killing roots and stuff like that. So this is slightly different, okay? Because I suppose with male pattern baldness, there is, as much as we like it or not, there is still at least a bit of a stigma around sort of hair systems or hair transplants and that kind of thing. I tend to find it's from much older people who come from, I suppose, grew up in a different era where, you know, you just shave your head and you just deal with it, mate. That was it. Just deal with it, mate. You know, that kind of attitude. And I think attitudes and approaches have changed. I think people are much more in touch with, or there's a lot more consideration around mental health challenges, and the problems that, you know, we face in the world in terms of, you know, people suffering from mental health, you know, issues and stuff like that. So there is a greater sensitivity now. And I don't think there's anything that I can definitively say or do that if you definitely do this or you definitely do that, it will be a perfect outcome. Because I can't, in my heart of hearts, I cannot say that because I just don't know. But I can give you some loose guidance that should help you steer this ship fairly well. The most obvious one is, don't tell a person that you're dating that you've got a hair system. It's way too early in the courting phase to do that. I think you need to be in a relationship before you can do that, because you have to build that bond, you have to build that trust, and you have to build that level of honesty. I think in the dating phase, we're all fairly guarded in the dating phase. You know, we're not going to literally splatter our whole lives out, onto the table for someone to listen to on the first date. It's just not the way it happens. You're fairly guarded. You sort of want to get to know the other person. There's usually a few drinks going, bit of laughter, that kind of thing. But it's only once you're in that sort of exclusive relationship zone where I think you can share information like this. I think another tip is just don't wait too long. Don't wait too, and by too long, I mean don't be waiting a year and a half, because again, it comes back into that trust thing. It comes back to building a sense of trust with your other half and growing that like a nice big tree, a beautiful tree, or even like a peacock when I think they're male peacocks, when they get their things out of the back, it's just like growing like that. It's beautiful. I just kind of think that if you wait too long, it's just kind of like, has the trust been broken? If you see what I mean. Like, she's going to be like, why didn't you tell me this earlier? Like, if you trust me, then you trust that I wouldn't mock you or laugh at you about this and that kind of thing. And it's also clear that you're hiding something from her. And I think that secrets in relationships are not a good thing. I think they're quite toxic, and they more often than not ends up in tears. So yeah, I think if you were to tell her within that first year, I think, yes, that's fine. But going longer than that is a no-go for me. But also in the dating sort of phase, I just wouldn't go there. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking right now, and that's like, if I tell her, what if it goes really badly and she does a runner and that kind of thing? I'll be honest, guys, I have heard stories like that. Not many. The majority of stories are fine, but I have heard a few like that. And I'm not going to lie to you about that. I have. But they are in the minority. And also, I think you need to look at it from this perspective. If she's not willing to respect a life choice that I've made that's boosted my self-confidence, boosted my self-esteem, and makes me feel happier in myself, then is she the right person for me? And that's quite a tough question to ask, because especially if you've been in a relationship for a while and, you have strong feelings for this person, is that being reciprocated? If she does a runner, or if she, I don't know, mocks you or something for it, is that representative of the wider relationship that the two of you have, the dynamic? Now, I ain't a relationship expert, all right? But I'm just talking common sense right now, okay? So I can understand the fear. I can totally understand the fear. But I think that it's something that has to be addressed. You cannot hide this from your significant other. You just can't. There was a guy on... where was it? Facebook, or maybe like one of the old threads from back in the day. He said, I've been married for 15 years and my wife doesn't know I've got a hair system. I'm just like, how can you live in the same house and she not see like you cleaning and rebonding your system? How can she not feel something weird on your head? And also just there's clearly a trust issue there. If he feels that he can't tell his other half that, he's got a hair system, there's clearly a trust issue there. Maybe there's an honesty issue on his behalf as well. It's all very messy. It sounds very toxic to me. And also think about the mess if she does find out, like 15 years of marriage, why haven't you told me about this? Like, that is a big red flag. Oh, it's getting quite hot again. It's like summer in the UK. My UK viewers, you'll know what I'm chatting about. It's been very hot the last few weeks. And then the last couple of days, it's gone kind of like a little bit cold again. I'm wearing jumpers and stuff, but it's getting humid now. And I'm like, I can't win, man. It's blimmin' muggy is what I will say. Right, so as I said halfway through the video, I can't give guaranteed success with the approach that I took, for instance. It's up to you guys. You've got to trust your gut. You've got to trust your instinct. How do you feel in the relationship? Do you feel secure in the relationship? If you feel secure in the relationship, you should be able to tell your other half, no problem whatsoever. If you don't feel secure in the relationship, maybe you need to start asking some deeper questions about the relationship personally. And as I emphasized earlier, if you're in the dating scene, I really wouldn't. I just wouldn't say. I wouldn't sort of delve into the hair system at that stage. I just wouldn't. I think that stage of the sort of courting before the relationship. I mean, number one, you don't even know if it's going to turn into a relationship. So what's the point in telling someone that you've got a hair system? But number two, that's the kind of time to, really, be having fun, doing fun dates, going places, and getting to know each other in like a really sort of positive way. This is slightly deeper than that, so I absolutely wouldn't wait. On the other hand as well, don't wait too long. Kind of common sense really, but don't wait too long. So guys, what's your experience been? Have you told a significant other that you wear a hair system? How did it go? Did it go well? Did it go not so well? Or are you just too scared to do it? Did you find this information helpful? Let me know in the comments box below. And guys, I've been so sluggish this video. I think it's the lack of coffee and the humidity that I completely forgot to mention that this video is sponsored by Levivid. 15% off. You can get off any of their stock hair systems. Check it out. Coupon code in the description box below. This is a Coeus system. It's a 0.08mm poly. Fits nicely. I like it. I actually made a shorts the other day as well of how I dry my hair in summer, and it's literally just putting a fan like in front of me and just putting my head down, and it just does it. And there's no heat involved, so it doesn't cause oxidation of the system. It doesn't cause the system to dry out. So I'd encourage you to check out that short. It's on my shorts playlist. And thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll speak to you very soon. Bye for now.